Hello and welcome to episode 2 of our deck building series here at Magic the Gathering Mike. Today we're going to be taking a look at a strong bracket 3 Venom build. I say Venom because the card is Eddie Brock Venom, but you're not going to bother with the front side. Eddie Brock, if we flop it over here, says when Eddie Brock enters, return target creature with mana value 1 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. I have no idea why that's the front of this card, but the back is very strong. So, Venom is a 5/5 Menace, Trample, Haste for 6 that says whenever Venom attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, draw X cards, then you may put a permanent card with mana value X or less from your hand onto the battlefield, where X is the sacrificed creature's mana value. Very potent. He does cost 6 mana, so you're not going to want to get him removed very often. You're going to want to cast him at the right time because he's hasty, and you can do that. So let's take a look at the things that we're putting in here to work with. So starting with our creatures, we have Ancient Adamantoise. Great creature to cheat out. So that's something we're going to look at doing quite a lot, is having creatures that can be cheated out to put in powerful things like Ancient Adamantoise for free. A good example of this is Bygone Colossus. Yes, it's a 9 mana 9/9, but it also has Warp 3. Warp 3, we get it in for 3 mana, we sacrifice it, we get to draw 9 cards, and hopefully hit something like Ancient Adamantoise to cheat out. We're going to do that with multiple cards here. So let's take a look at others. Anger. Anger is a perfect one we want to put in our graveyard. So we want to sacrifice Anger for another 4 if we can. Very easily. And if, you don't have a no hand size restriction or remove the restriction on your hand size yet, very often when you draw a bunch of cards at the end of turn, Anger will be one that you can discard. It's pretty good. Anti-Causal Vestige is another that is really great for 6 mana 7/5. When this creature leaves the battle, draw a card. Then you may put a permanent card with mana value less than or equal to the number of lands you control from your hand onto the battlefield. So you can warp this in for 4, draw 6, put something out with 6 mana or less, and also put something out with mana value less than or equal to the number of lands you control. Very, very good card in this deck. You want to see this one every time you play it. Atsushi, another one that's a die trigger. That's what we want. We want cheat outs and die triggers. So Atsushi's a 4/4 flying trample for 4. You exile the top 2 cards of your library when it dies, and you can play them until the next turn, or you can create 3 treasure tokens. I like the 3 treasure tokens because we got a lot of big mana value creatures in here. Covered Bygone already. Diamond Weapon. Costs 1 less to cast for each permanent in your graveyard. Well, if we're going to be sacrificing stuff, we're going to have those in our graveyard, and this is a good one to keep out there. You can cheat it out, and it's really good. So you can prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to it. It's an 8/8 with reach. It does a lot. We're also going to try and cheat out Itali, Primal Conqueror. This is very valuable because you can exile for a non-land card out of your own graveyard as well as your opponent's, and you can hit other big things. So you can hit another one of your big mana creatures. Maybe you hit a Galta Stampede Tyrant, which is huge because then you have a big hand size and you put everything out. Maybe you hit your Seize the Day and get another combat. Do it again. Eternal Witness, pretty simple. That's just there to bring something back from the graveyard. Recently had a game where I brought Blasphemous Act back because I was behind. It was kind of fun. Galta Primal Hunger and Galta Stampede Tyrant. Galta Primal Hunger is great because total power creatures you control reduces the cost, and you get a 12 mana creature out there to draw 12 and put out any card in the deck that you would draw that's a permanent. Notably, this is permanent, so you can do lands too if you are behind on that. We will come to that shortly as to a very nice combo you can pull with that. Galta Stampede Tyrant. It's another great one. Say if you sacrifice Galta, draw 12, you're going to hit quite a few creatures. As you can see, we have 33 in here. And then you put out Galta Stampede Tyrant, and then all the creatures in your hand come out for free. It's pretty good. Goreclaw reduces cost of other creatures. That's really all Goreclaw is here for. because we have a lot of expensive creatures. We want them to be cheap. Grim Reaper. Whenever it attacks, you may pay 4. When you do, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped and attacking with a finality counter on it. So powerful when that could be Galta Primal Hunger and get you another 12 to sacrifice. Also, just a 12/12 that's tapped and attacking with Trample. Pretty damn good. Venom is an interesting one that is mostly here for flavor, but also she's Bolus's Citadel on a stick. When she attacks until end of turn, you can look at the top card of your library anytime, and you may play cards from the top of your library by paying life equal to their mana cost. Pretty solid. Hulk is here because it's a Marvel card, and because it's a 9/9 trampler that when it splashes in, destroys all artifacts. Pretty good. Removal and a big, beefy guy there. Ignoble Hire, it's a mana dork. Exalted is good, but not necessary. It's just here to be a mana dork. Gerard, when you're going to put out a bunch of big creatures, Gerard can win you the game. You just pay 3, sacrifice a creature, and deal damage equal to its power to each opponent. Pretty darn good. Junji is a death trigger card that we're going to want to sacrifice, so you can make each opponent discard 2 and lose 2, or the more common one, put a target non-dragon creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control and lose 2 life. This is good because you're going to be sacrificing things like Galta Primal Hunger and bring it back with Junji. Kingpin. Whenever you sacrifice Kingpin or another creature, you're going to create 2 treasure tokens. Pretty good. We want to create treasures. Those are good. Metamorphosis Fanatic gives something Miracle 1. Also, or it has Miracle 2, rather, and whenever it enters, you can return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a lifelink counter on it. So the idea here is you Miracle it out for 2, bring back a big creature, and then you can sacrifice this because it's done at that point. Micaeus brings your creatures back once you sacrifice them, so long as they're not humans. Not many humans in here. So you get multiple sacrifices out of Micaeus. Very strong card, usually will eat removal, just like Molecule Man. Another way to cheat more things out. Pretty simple there. You're cheating out your big creatures with Molecule Man is what you hope. Then we're going to move to Morag. This one is very important. Each creature you control gets +1/+0 for each time it's attacked this turn. Whatever, we're not here for that. We are here for the landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, if it's your main phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase. At the beginning of that phase, untap all creatures you control. What you can do with this is, as long as you have stuff to sacrifice and lands in hand, you essentially have infinite combats. And you draw so many cards with this deck, you're going to have lands in hand most of the time. So you can really steamroll a game out with Morag through the landfall trigger. Gnawbone, it's just here to cheat it out once you've declared attackers and get a bunch of treasures from it. Psychosis Crawler is a good game win condition because Psychosis Crawler's power and toughness don't really matter. But it is equal to the number of cards in your hand, which means it can be a big creature sometimes. But whenever you draw a card, each opponent loses 1 life. Well, if I sacrifice a Galta for 12, and I draw 12, that's a lot. You get the idea there. That's pretty simple. We draw a lot of cards with this deck. Scion of Draco, it's just a 12-mana creature that we can cheat out for 6. Because we will have 3 basic land types most games. This is here because we can switch the printing over to Venom. This is a Venom King in Black is Skitherix. Very good creature to have out there because it's nasty. Skitherix is a nasty card, but it's really just here for the flavor of having Venom King in Black. Solemn Simulacrum, another one we want to sacrifice. We want it to enter. We want it to die so we get a draw. We want it to enter so we get land. Pretty good. This is just Thanos is going to get bigger when we sacrifice creatures. Pretty good. Thrasta, another 12-mana creature that we can cheat out when we cast other spells. Pretty darn good. We're going to want to try and cheat in Tri-Sentinel. Flying Menace Trample 7/7 in here also. It's a Marvel card, so it's flavorful. And that's what we really want. Venom Deadly Devourer is another nasty card. Vigilance, and it's also here for flavor, but Vigilance Menace 4/4 for 4. You can pay 3 to exile target creature card from your graveyard When you do, put X +1/+1 counters on target symbiote, hopefully your Commander Venom, where X is the exiled card's toughness. Well, if we happen to get Ancient Adamantoids into our graveyard with this combo, we can make Venom lethal to other players. Now, yes, when it dies, you do exile it, but again, like I said, we're going to draw a lot of cards, we're going to discard a lot of cards, so it can end up in your graveyard, and it's not necessarily the worst idea to do it if you have this Venom Deadly Devourer either in your hand or in play, so you can make a plan for what to do with it. Venom Eddie Brock is a menace 6/4 for 6, that whenever another creature dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Venom. If it was a villain, we have a few. We'll get to draw a card. Again, it's a Venom card, so it's here for that reason. And then we have Shu Feet. Really, really silly name. But you can tap Shu here to return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield and make it a skeleton. And it has no abilities, which is great because it still has its mana cost. We're returning the card. We're not making a copy. We're not doing a token. We're returning the card and removing the abilities. So, again, another way to, say, put, Thrasta or one of the other Scion or Galta, put those things back out. Then we'll move on to the sorceries. Ancestral Communion. When you cast this, while you control your commander, you may choose new target for the copy to return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Pretty good since we're putting stuff in our graveyard. Same with Behold the Sinister Six. We're going to bring back 6 creatures with different names. Pretty good when we're intentionally putting stuff in our graveyard. Blasphemous Act needs no explanation. Breach the Multiverse. Each player mills 10 cards. For each player, choose a planeswalker or creature from their graveyard. Put them onto the battlefield under my control. They become Phyrexians. This is just, we're putting cards in our graveyard, and we're getting free cards that we probably don't care much about from our opponents to sacrifice to Venom. Useful. Ramp and Farseek. Green Sun's Twilight is a way to seek out a creature, and if X is 5 or more, you can put it onto the battlefield. It's a pretty good creature tutor. It's not really a tutor, but you get the idea. You get to reveal a bunch of cards and put out something big if you pay big for it. Kodama's Reach, pretty simple. Natural Order, the only game changer in this deck list. As an additional cost, sacrifice a green creature. We have plenty of those. Search your library for a green creature, put it on the battlefield and shuffle. So say Ignoble Hierarch, we can Natural Order into Galta Primal Hunger, Galta Stampede Tyrant, so on and so forth. You get the idea. Reanimate, pretty simple. Scheming Symmetry. Choose 2 target players, each of them searches their library for a card, then shuffles and puts that card on top. Pretty cool before combat if you want to make sure that you're going to hit a certain card to put out for free. Yeah, you let your opponent do the same thing, but that's okay. Because you're getting to put something hopefully more powerful than what they do on top of your library. Seize the Days just for another combat. Very often, you get to cast that for free in some cases. Or even not, you just, get more combats. I don't know if I'm going to cast it for free. I misspoke there. But you're going to get another combat, and you can flash it back. So if you have 7 mana up when you move to combat, you have 3 combats. Victimize. Choose 2 target creature cards in your graveyard, sacrifice another creature. If you do, return those to the battlefield tapped. Perfect for when you want to re-sacrifice Galta and draw a bunch more. Beast Within, Dark Ritual, Deadly Rollick, Fatal Push, Heroic Intervention, Rakdos Charm, all pretty simple as to what they're here for. Removal, Ramp, Removal, Protection. And this one can come in handy in many ways. You can destroy an artifact. I usually like that each creature deals 1 damage to its controller. Now, Revitalizing Repast is here because you can hopefully cast this to save your Venom if somebody wants to try and destroy it. And it's an MDFC, so we get a land on the other side that comes in tapped. I like MDFCs, but I didn't include a lot of them here. Arcane Signet, Lightning Greaves, Soul Ring, pretty simple. Thought Vessel, also pretty simple. No maximum hand size. We're going to want that effect. I didn't include a ton of those effects because I actually don't mind discarding a whole lot with this deck. Because you can see we have a lot of graveyard recursion, and we like that. Skullspore Nexus is great. Costs X less to cast, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. So usually we're going to cast this for 2 green. And then whenever one or more non-token creatures you control dies, create a green fungus dinosaur creature token with base power and toughness, each equal to the total power of those creatures. Very, very good. We're making creatures off of sacrificing creatures. Very good. You can also pay 2 and tap. It's a double target creature's power until end of turn. Another way to kill somebody with commander damage with Venom. Another way to kill somebody with commander damage with Venom and also just protect Venom from combat is Alpha Authority. Now, if you'll notice, Venom has Menace. Alpha Authority says enchanted creature has hexproof, which is good, and can't be blocked by more than 1 creature, meaning your Venom cannot be blocked. Because Venom says you must block with 2, and this says you can only block with 1. Well, now you have an unblockable Venom. Pretty good. Dead Bridge Chant. You mill 10 cards when it enters, and then at the beginning of your upkeep, choose a card at random in your graveyard. If it's a creature, put it on the battlefield, otherwise it goes to your hand. Again, Golgari Graveyard shenanigans. Love it. Defense of the Heart. This is just getting 2 creatures onto your battlefield, so long as your opponents control a few creatures. Pretty good. Greater Good. Sacrifice a creature, draw cards equal to the sacrifice creature's power, then discard 3 cards. Again, if you have Psychosis Crawler out, you can just kill the table if you have a few big creatures out. Very good. Riveteer's Ascendancy. Whenever you sacrifice a creature, you may return target creature with lesser mana value from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Perfect. We're sacrificing creatures. Usually only once a turn in this deck, too. So, very good. Sneak Attack allows us to put a creature out for a single red that has to be sacrificed at the end of the turn. Guess what? We're not getting to the end of the turn with the creatures we cheat out with Sneak Attack. We're just not. We're sacrificing them to Venom anyways. Very, very strong card in this deck. World War Hulk gets us a free green or red creature spell to cast on its first iteration there. First step of the saga. Then you put 3 +1/+1 counters on a target creature you control. Yeah, alright. And then you choose target creature you control until end of turn, double its power and toughness, and give it trample. With a lot of the big creatures we have in here, that one's extremely good, and the first is extremely good. The rest there is just lands, which, hey man, lands are good. There's not a whole lot of, like, yeah, Cabal Coffers, Bajuka Bogs in there. You know, Mosswort Bridge is one that I actually, just recently playing this deck, was able to put out Etali Primal Conqueror from my Mosswort Bridge, which felt really good. Reliquary Tower is important. Rogue's Passage is important. The Phyrexian Tower, it's not bad. For the price, you could skip that one. Same with Urborg and Yavimaya. You can skip a lot of those. But all told, the deck comes out to be quite pricey. But a lot of that is tied up in having a very good land base, and the basics I put into my own are the Venom lands. So $10 per forest, $13 per mountain, and $23 per swamp. And of course, you have the $133 Eddie Brock there. A lot of these cards you can get dollar versions of. So I would say don't necessarily look at that final price as what you would have to pay to put this together. And also, you can just proxy, which I highly recommend. So, yeah, let me know what you think of this one, and maybe at some point we'll play test it for you and show you how I like to play it. Thank you for watching this one, and we'll see you in the next one.